Are you a crystal child or a parent of a crystal child? Are you unsure about what you should do to fulfill your purpose as a crystal child? Do you wish for guidance, a little instruction, and reassurances that everything will be alright as you go through your journey? Crystal children are here to shine a light to the world, to teach humanity about love and kindness, to inspire people to reach their highest states, and raise the vibration of the world. In this video, you will receive messages from the universe through your guardian angels, so you can find the guidance and support you need. By the end of this video, you will understand your purpose as a crystal child born in this lifetime. Could you be a rainbow child? Or do you have a rainbow child?
Alrighty, well, good day, everybody, and hope you're doing a wonderful today. And Eva, how's it going over there, over in Michigan?
Oh, it's snowy and cold, and I'm waiting for summer.
You're not the only one.
At least that's what I tell people. They laugh.
Yeah, well, it's surprising.
Michigan.
Well, it's surprising
I'm sorry.
Your front door faces actually towards Ontario.
Yes, it does.
So.
Yes, it does. And every time someone in Ontario goes, bleh, we get a bad storm.
Well, don't blame us on that one.
All right, I won't. But we do say if it comes out of the east, it's going to be bad. And I've never seen it to fail.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we do say thanks a lot to everybody that's joining in tonight, or though that has been joining. For the people that are regulars, please send in your email address. If I have not received your email, because actually on the 5th, well, technically on the 6th, though, you'll be receiving from myself and Eva, you will be receiving a certificate indicating though that you did take part actually with the children's workshop. So I do need your email address so you know where to send that to, and that'd be wonderful. But tonight, though, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at crystal children. Now, most people know that they look at crystal children and they're not too sure what are crystal children. Crystal children have been there for a long time, and they do work with their work with their chakras. They work more or less with their crown chakra is what they work with, and I'm gonna let Eva read about what are crystal children.
What are crystal children? They are the next evolution from the indigos. They are called that because they have a much higher vibration, and their dominant chakra, of which we all have them, 7 of them. Actually, we have more than that, but the 7 main chakras, it is the crown chakra. The crown chakra is here in the head, on the top of the head, and it's usually depicted as either white or gold. And in the crystal children, you'll see that those particular dominant colors in their auras. And they march to their own tune, but they have gifts and special spiritual gifts. And unfortunately, sometimes they're not recognized, and they're diagnosed on the autistic spectrum. And I can relate to that exactly. My nephew-in-law, John, is Asperger's. And of course, they blamed it on the fact that his mother was smoked and drank, et cetera, et cetera. But this man is brilliant, and he has a heart of gold, as they say. And reading through the list that I read there, it fits John perfectly. He doesn't like to admit that he's psychic, but he is. Anyway, their connection with the spiritual realm is something we can't understand because we don't have that little bit of autism, if you want to put it that way, in our makeup. And because of that, they have a connection that the rest of us don't see. And I think that's why they kind of march to their own tune. And yet they are very giving people, very, very giving people. They're just a little out of step with the rest of us, if that's a good way to put it. They are here to help us, bring us up, all of us, up into a higher spiritual realm, I guess. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
And they are, it's interesting because they were born in 2001. That's when they started making their appearance. Actually, they made it before, but it's like the indigo children. Indigos are like from the 70s on, and yet there are indigo children that came before that. So, that's just kind of a general thing. So, but when you think about it, now these children are adults and they're coming into their own. And when they do this, or as they come into their adulthood, they work with the people around them to help raise that consciousness and to help with the great awakening that's supposed to be coming anytime now. I'm still waiting. They've been saying that since like 1971, 72. So it's been a while, almost 50 years, that this great awakening is supposed to happen. And I don't think we're ready for it yet. And until we are, the spiritual connection is not going to happen. But the crystal children are there to help us make that connection that boy, I use my hands a lot, don't I?
It's okay.
And that's basically what crystal children are. Is that crystal clear, or is that?
Yeah. So you know that they bring the light, they bring the love, the joy to others. That's a couple of things that they do bring. Now, crystal children are likely to propose physical ability. So what that means, though, for the physical ability, is so that they can actually tap into the other dimension, though, that we actually live in. Now, most people think, though, that we live actually in the 2-dimension, but there is 3 and 4 dimension, though, that the children actually can tap into. There's 10.
That's 10. 10. Well, that's what I was told. There are actually 10 dimensions that humans are able to connect to. Yeah. I don't know where the numbers come from, and I don't know why, but that's what I was told.
Yeah, because they log into the other parts of the brain that a lot of us we cannot tap into. So that's their physical.
Exactly.
That is actually their ability that they can actually be able to do, which is really good, though, because a lot of us, though, even though with us spiritual mediums, we're probably like 6 that we can tap into, but we can't tap actually into all of them. Some of us, we may say, yeah, right. Some of us, we may say, no, it's a little bit less. But it's approximately 6, though, that we can actually tap into.
One of the things with being that they do see things, these children do see things different than you and I. We would hold up a piece of paper. Like, this is a piece of paper. Yeah. And that's what we would say, but the autistic, or I shouldn't say autistic, the crystal children look and say, no, that's a means of communications.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, they look at things with a different aspect. Things that are common to us, they will add a dimension to it. It's delightful to be around these children. As I say, I have a personal one-on-one with my nephew-in-law, and there are times when he'll say something and I'm like, what the are you talking about? And then he'll stop, he'll explain it. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I feel sorry for Tiffany, because she has to put up with him. And it's like, oh, I don't envy you, child. I do not envy you. Tiffany is my niece. And she has been with John for quite a few years. And yes, there are problems, but I mean, they take the time and they work them out. So don't worry about that. They're very happy together. And it's like we always say, Tiffany needs someone to take care of, and John needs someone to take care of him. And a lot of crystal children, from what I've read in other articles or in different articles, these children need that grounding in those of us who aren't star seeds or whatever, to keep them grounded enough that they can communicate with us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
There was, again, those weren't too sure exactly what you were saying though. They speak actually at a different level than what we do. Right? We go more hardcore with inside, but with crystal children, though, that they work actually individually, actually as their own. But right whenever they're with other crystal children, they can communicate in different which ways than what we can't pick up. So that's one thing though that they can do, and it's pretty cool though, because like, what would you do if you were actually in a room with somebody that you know, and you just look at them and it's communication? It's sort of like twins. Twins can look at each other and actually communicate just by looking.
When I was teaching as a real teacher, in my one class, I had a set of twins, and I was advised to put them on opposite sides of the room. And I'll tell you, there are times when the test answers came in, the two of them had the exact same words.
Yeah.
I mean, this is for an essay, so they couldn't have studied for it, or however you want to put it. And yet they were saying the exact same thing. I mean, word for word. I don't want to explain it because I don't know if I can, but that's a prime example. And I also had a set of twins in my family, and they would have a communication between them that the rest of us didn't have. It's kind of neat.
Yeah. So in some cases, though, some crystal children are actually autistic or have autism, which is really cool, though.
I would say they were more on with the Asperger's type thing. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
But it's a high form of autism. I wouldn't say all autistic children are crystal children, but all crystal children have a tendency for autistic abilities or autistic characteristics, from what I've been reading. I did not know that until just recently. And it's like, well, that puts it in a whole different realm.
Yeah. Well, even their eyes, like their eyes, though, right when you look at them, their eyes are so pure within color. There's one actually channel I watch actually here on YouTube. Don't want to give out the name, but anyway, so they have a little boy, and a couple of days ago I looked at the eyes and I was like, holy cow, the little boy's eyes are so clear. And I was very surprised about that. And that's one thing that I about crystal children, though, is like, have you looked at people and their eyes are so like clear that you're stunned? So.
Never, you don't forget that easily.
No.
There's just something about it. Yeah. Something about it.
Yeah. So again, look, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
crystal children crystal children are really interesting. There's just so many realms, so many dimensions. There's so many, I don't know what to say. They just have so many facets to them that other children just simply do not have. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can. So those are some examples that you can tell by actually the crystal children. Today, though, Trevor and I, we were actually out at a location, And one of the children actually at this location, though, I was sitting close to, and I could pick up the energy to do with actually, though the child was sort of like a crystal child / medium. And yeah, it was like pretty cool though to be actually to this location, but it's the case so that Trevor and I were going to be doing shortly. Can't go in full disclosure, but it's just so the energy of this location, especially around the child, though, you can actually pick up to do with actually a crystal child. So, is there any more examples so that you can think of, Eva?
Not right offhand. As we talk, I'll probably come up with other things.
Okay.
The last couple of days, I don't know if it's the weather or the Chinese New Year's, Mercury is going retrograde, but my mind has just been brain fog.
Yeah.
It's like I keep wanting to go like this. Get out of the way. Yeah, just let me.
So for those that tuned in last week to the show, or I think it was last week or the week before, Eva was saying something about the Metro, I think it was, retrograde.
Retrograde.
Yeah, I sent Eva. So right now, we're just finishing off the retrograde, and Eva was very surprised to actually sent that to her.
Okay.
So what are crystal children, and what are their purposes? That's the next thing that we're going to look actually at. Crystal children are known to be actually inside. So basically, though, that they're more introvert instead of extrovert. That they stay more or less to themselves. They really don't share much with people. That's one thing though that they do. Right, they are the light, so that we can actually be able to see, to sense that about them and see that about the children. But again, those if you're going to approach the children, they're going to be shy, timid around you. Again, though, that they are loving their peace actually here on Earth. So that way is really good. They're not looking for anything negative. They always try to bring the positive actually to any situation. Crystal children have the clairvoyance of healing. So they are also healers. All right. I don't know if Eva wants to continue on with this.
I'm just trying to think of who he is, a well-known rock star, rock music person. And he writes music. And I only just found out recently, well, I shouldn't say recently, it's in the last couple of years, and my mind is drawing a complete blank. But he is on the Asperger's scale, which means he probably is a crystal child, even though he's like 40, in his late 40s, early 50s. As I said, these children, the dates that they give for these children to have come into this world are just kind of basic guides. Some come before, some will come after. There's no set thing. As you know, the universe has no concept of time, only of the forward progression. And I have also heard there's another musician out there, a well-known musician, and I can see this person in my mind, and I can't think of his name. He's not an actual, he doesn't get up there and sing, but he does a lot of the writing. And I think it very interesting that in the last week, David Crosby of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young passed away. And did you know he was on the Asperger's scale?
No, I didn't know that.
And if you look at the music that he wrote, it fits right in. I'm like, holy crap, they're all around us.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure there are other creative people out there who are crystal children who are already influencing our lives. If you think about the music aspect of it, I mean, come on. Some of the songs that David Crosby wrote, unbelievable. I mean, they are exactly what the crystal children are all about.
Yeah, well, it also says, so like, sort of do with music, which you were just talking about, though. So basically, those crystal children are actually healers within art and also music. They love to bring the loving forward. So that's one thing, though, that he actually used to do, which is pretty cool.
Again, you can't not look at somebody like that and think, wow, he's got some connection to the great connection, or he's got the great connection. And I think it's partly because they are crystal children.
Yeah.
Just trying to think. I don't think in my working career I came across many other crystal children, but then I worked with engineers. They're an odd bunch to begin with, but that's okay. We all have our place. And I don't know if I probably did come across some crystal children, but in the engineering aspect, I don't think they really manifest themselves as easily.
Yeah.
Just a thought there.
Yeah.
But like we were talking, these children are paving the way for our next evolution.
Yeah. And sort of like what you're saying, though, is who knows right when that will be, right? Because we never really know right when things are going to happen and right when they're going to go forward. But we will be right back right after this commercial break, and we'll be right back.
The paranormal can happen at any time, so that's why our Etsy store is always open. Get your paranormal items from cleansing to protection to attraction, all available now on our Etsy store. Search HauntingLIVE.
Alrighty, so we are back now. So for everybody that's in Southern Ontario or within the States or even in the world, come to Stratford May 6th. Stratford's going to be having their Indigenous market. They are looking for vendors. If you guys like to be able to take part of May 6th, please get in contact with Stratford Perth Museum, or even the rain date will be actually on the 13th. And this is held inside and outside. So we are looking for vendors for the second Indigenous market of Stratford, Perth. So Eva, you were just saying, though, about one person, though, that was kind of crazy. It was about an artist.
Pardon?
It was about an artist.
Oh, my mind. I'm just trying a complete blank. My mind was going on something else. I'm sorry. It's
okay. It's all right. So what was your mind going actually on?
I was thinking about Cat Stevens' song Peace Train.
Yeah.
You think about the words on that, ride on the peace train, holy roller ride on. Sorry. And I can't sing, so God didn't give me that talent. I don't know why. I have other talents, though.
Yes.
But I think about my mind was kind of running around David Crosby.
Yeah.
You think about the songs that he wrote. If you think about some of the songs that have become very popular, especially through the 80s, a lot of them have the feeling that they could have been written by a crystal child or was influenced by that because of the abilities and what the song itself is saying about peace and love. And I mean, was even more so, or deeper. I don't know how to put it. It was more it wasn't the kind of songs that the hippie generation, peace, love, and harmony. But this is more of the deeper meaning of peace and love, and how much frustration there is in the world right now when you think about it. And that's what I was thinking about. My mind goes off very quickly in different directions. I apologize.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry about it. All of our minds go somewhere else.
The only problem is mine keeps forgetting to come back.
It's like awesome. So yeah, so again, some of the crystal children actually have physical strength. They also have actually the ability to respond to negative events. Now with this, though, for physical strength, though, is what I would say, though, that they actually have the ability that they can actually focus actually on certain things, and things will actually happen. A lot of us, though, we say, though, that we can do that, but we're not fully there. Now then, also with the negative events, though, the only negative event that I could think, though, just recently for northern like the States area and also Canada, it's basically to do with the way that that Earth is shifting right now, plus also with the winds. So that's actually negative, though, because things are starting to change. So that's giving effect actually to them, to the crystal children, right? And they're reacting to that. A lot of us, so we're not reacting. If you know, so for the month, pretty much for month of here, January of 2023, it's been really gorgeous actually up in the northern portion, except for the really bad snowstorm, though, that we faced at the beginning of January.
Yeah, we had that one too.
Yeah. So things have been shifting. Go ahead.
You talked about, and this is kind of interesting. You talked about that the Earth is shifting. The poles are actually not where they were even 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it was the Navajo, the Arapaho, one of the Southwest tribes talk about the blue star. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Anyway, that this whole legend, and part of it, when you think about it, does get into this idea of children that come that have higher energies that raise it up. And there is, I don't know whether to call it a legend, a story, whatever, but I did remember reading this a while back, and they were talking about these children of the blue star, which kind of are like the crystal children. And because the Earth is going through some big changes that could lead to our demise, if you want to get that drastic about it, but they are working with Mother Earth to help correct this so that we are not. And one of the things that they are doing is shifting the poles so that the Earth it has a different tilt to it to compensate some of the stuff that's going on. And do you know what one of the big ones are that's in this? China is building. And it has added weight to that particular section of the Earth. And these children are meditating. Well, they're not children anymore. They're getting into the adulthood, or they are adulthoods.
Yeah. Are
meditating and working with the spirit of Mother Earth to correct that so that it stays in a stable orbit. Yeah. Now, I find that fascinating.
Yeah, and it's cool, though, because it's awesome to see the what I would say, the crystal children stepping up, especially for Mother Earth. Now, I know both your generation, my generation, though, we have been trying to correct stuff, but it's great to see the crystal children that willing to go more forward than our generation. The funny thing, though, is I was watching Mrs. Brown's Boys, And this was over Christmas, and one of the grandchildren actually on the show started cursing, saying Mrs. Brown, said, "Oh, your generation did this, your generation did that." Mrs. Brown spoke up and said, "No, this is the way though that we did things. It was not us. It was about pollution and everything else." Now, crystal children though are more with earthly, so with Mother Earth, which is awesome. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in. Would love to hear from you guys tonight. Actually, here on questions to do with anything that we've discussed so far within the past 2 weeks. Again, those, please type them in, or even send us an email. Now, this email is gypsylady49@gmail.com. So that's, again, those gypsyladyeva49@gmail.com. My email is divineoraclereadings@gmail.com. So it's divine oracle readings, sorry, not readings, but reading at gmail.com. If you guys like to get some transcripts to do with actually any of the shows that we are doing, we will be glad to actually send you guys out the footnotes. Again, those tonight though, what we're doing is we're taking a look actually at crystal children. Crystal children, again, though, were from the time period of the early 2000s. So they were born basically after the 2001s is the time period though that they were born. Anything else that you like to add, Eva?
Well, it just kind of hit me. I'm getting kind of a long view. You know, we witnessed the change of a century from one century to the other. And when you think about it, not only did we go from one year to the next, we went from one century to the next, and we went from one millennium to the next. Millennium
yeah.
To the next. So it's kind of a triple, whatever you want to call it. And if you think of it that way, the forces must have been the right place for the crystal children to make their appearance, because they do have the heightened psychic abilities. They have intuitiveness beyond the psychic that a lot of people don't have. They have a certain oneness, if that's, I don't know if that's the right word. They see everybody as a part of the whole.
Yeah.
As opposed to many of us who just like, well, you're you and I'm me and they're them and everybody, but we're not part of, so we can't be the same, because after all, you're this and I'm that and she's her and you know. But crystal children have a tendency to look in a more universal context of things.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, maybe it was the right time with the new year, the new century, the new millennium, all three at once, body, mind, and spirit. And because of that, they have a tendency to look at things as all part of the whole.
Yeah.
That was what going through my mind.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool though, because it's true though. They're there, right? They're here, and they're actually here to help fix everything.
Oh, definitely. Well, they're not going to be able to, but that's because the rest of us are going like, what? You want us to do what?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? We can't do that. It'll never work.
Yeah. But the crystal children also bring love. So they bring love more or less to their families, their pets, and also their friends. So that's what love that they bring. They actually bring more love actually to family, pets, and also friends. A lot of us, so for family, so some of us we can't get along with others. With friends come and go.